First thing I want to do again is welcome everybody. The Ripley County Chamber of Commerce has held Meet the Candidates for a couple of years now. It's something we started a couple of years ago, and it seems to be growing in popularity. I'd like to thank all the candidates and yourself for attending. We think these are very important events for our community. We'd like to thank SEMO Insurance and again Ripley County Chamber of Commerce along with Ripley County Community Partnership. Almost forgot, and that's bad because I serve on the board. Anyway, Ripley County Community Partnership for the use of the facility here. A couple of housekeeping items. If you have a cell phone, please turn your cell phone on vibrate or turn it off. And then two, restrooms back over in this corner, men and women's restrooms. Would ask that everyone please sign in. If you haven't signed in, I would ask that you do that. And hopefully all the candidates have checked in. The candidates that will be speaking this evening will be candidates that will be appearing on the April ballot only. So only those candidates appearing on the April ballot will have a chance to speak. We're going to hold them to approximately 3 minutes. We'll let them give a little bit of a bio, a little bit of information about themselves, about why they're running, and why you should vote for them. Then afterwards, we'll have some meet and greet time, so then you can ask your questions to the candidates. And I guess with that, we will go ahead and get started. We have a couple of things that will be on the April ballot that we have a person here to speak, Larry Walker, on the tax levy for the Doniphan Special Road District. So at this time, Larry, we'll let you come forward and give us a little bit of information about that.
I'm not the best speaker in the world, but maybe y'all could understand me. Anyway, I've been with the Doniphan Special Road District for the past 18 years this coming April. And since, it's strictly a volunteer job, no one chose to run against me, so I guess I'll be there for another 3-year term. But I'm here to talk about our upcoming tax levy for the Doniphan Special Road District. Our tax levy is a 0.1500, which is a 15-cent. We've been getting this money. This is not a new tax. We've been receiving this money for the past 4 3-year terms since I've been on the road district. And and this tax was to maintain to keep new equipment and put road material on our county roads. But we've been having a kind of a tug of war here lately with all the floods and everything we've been having. All of our road material winds up going down the creeks and the ditches and everywhere else, and when it gets on private land, of course, we can't go and get it back. But this tax is really needed to be voted in again so we could keep putting chat and stuff on our county roads and keep our equipment for not getting any older than 5 years. And we received some money from FEMA back during the flood of between April and May, in which they come out and made estimates on the damage our roads had then. We received about $70,334, which we had to complete them jobs, then turn it back into them, show where they've been completed. But we've had another flood here a couple of weeks ago, and it's just tore roads up again, and that's just more money we have to keep throwing out to try to keep our roads maintained. But if y'all could see it your way, I'd like to see if y'all could vote for this upcoming tax coming up here in April to help so we can keep these roads up in shape.
It's not actually a new tax, then it's just to maintain the same tax.
Yeah, it's just to maintain the tax we've been receiving for the past 12 years.
Okay.
We've been receiving that same amount. And and we've got about between our county right around 85 miles of road that we have to maintain. And which we got some blacktop in West Doniphan we have to do repair patch work on, and we do Brooks Lane, and we also do patchwork on 0142 and 0160. We try to keep the blacktop, you know, the potholes and stuff like that filled up. Then when the county court up here, when they get a grant or something, that's when we try to get the roads blacktopped. And we do some trading out with the state of Missouri. They do some striping for us, and we interchange and do some bush hogging for them, so we can get the Brooks Lane striped and 0142 striped, and we just striped 0160 here not too long ago. We're trying to do the best we can with what we got to do with, and like I said, we try not to let our equipment get more than 5 years old, so we don't have to have a bunch of stuff that's tore up all the time. Try to keep stuff maintained where we got good stuff to work with. And we sure appreciate your vote. We got 2 other commissioners beside me, and that would be Chris Lowry and Bob Cate. And I don't know how long they've not been on there quite as long as I have, but anyway, I was called to come up here tonight and make a speech to you about this upcoming tax levy. And anyway, I come here to make my part, and I hope y'all can see it your way to see it passed.
Thank you, Larry. The next speaker we'll have is Chris Miller. He's talking about, or going to be speaking about the Proposition 1 on the, there you are, on the city. I always expect you to be from over here anyway on the city ballot. So.
Thank you, Russell.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. As city attorney, I had to draft the ordinance that you're going to be asked to call upon and to weigh in on the April 3rd ballot. Proposition 1 says, shall the marshal of the city of Doniphan, Missouri be an appointed officer instead of being elected by the voters in a municipal election? This will not shorten the term of any incumbent marshal. The reason for this, and it's been discussed over the years by the city council, is that law enforcement and the management of our law enforcement establishment has grown, quite frankly, too large and too complicated to have someone in that job who has no qualification other than that they live in the city and they're 21 years old. And that's it. That's the only qualification for being city marshal. And you have to file for election, which means that if you don't have many qualified police officers or law enforcement people in the city, they can't run. And we have a very, very small field of candidates. I've been familiar with how law enforcement has developed in this city for the last 40 years. When I first came in, they were still at the verge of having a night marshal, and that was it. Now we have a department that is well over $500,000 in annual budget, half dozen or more officers, very complex requirements under state law. A lot of professionalism has been gained over the years, and it could all be lost in an election where the only candidate or candidates are somebody with, at best, a high school education and no training or experience in the administration of a department of this size and complexity. The City Council needs the ability to hire someone who has the qualifications for this type of job. You would not expect to have a law enforcement department of this size run by someone whose only qualification is they live in Doniphan and happen to be over 21 years of age with no training or experience other than that required. There's only 1,932 people according to the census in this community, and how many do you get to choose from who have anywhere near a qualification for this type of job? The answer is very few. And because of that, we run the risk at every election cycle that we'll get someone who has no background in law enforcement or a background in administration. If you want to keep the quality of law enforcement that you've gotten over the years, you have to give your city council the opportunity to hire that. When our current marshal, Mark Rogers, who's done a fantastic job, is eventually going to retire. He, like me, is no spring chicken. And at some point, he's going to have someone run against him if without any qualifications, or he's going to retire and leave it up to anybody without qualifications to run on the ballot. And the City Council thinks that's a potential invitation to disaster and would like you to give them the authority to hire a chief of police from anywhere that can get them to move in here and run our department when Marshal Rogers is no longer able to do that job, or no more willing to do that job. His term will not be affected by this. He has a 4-year term. There's 3 more years of that to run. All likelihood he could stay after that, but like I say, he's no spring chicken either. So at some point fairly soon, we're going to need to consider these issues, and I think that the council is just concerned that in the long haul we need to have professional law enforcement, not a night marshal. So.
Can the city council not change those qualifications?
No.
Where does that come
They're
out?
set by state law.
Well, we need to go to the state and get that changed then.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you promote from within?
We can, but not always will the voters allow you to do that. I mean, there's all of the people who are currently employed. Some live inside the city. I think some live outside the city. So that limits your base. That limits your field of candidates. You know, everybody says, well, let's just let the voters decide. Well, letting the voters decide is fine when you have a large field of candidates. But when you have only one or none, or certainly none who are qualified, but you've got to vote for one of them anyway because the qualified people aren't eligible, you've got a problem.
We'll go ahead and save the question and answers. Chris, you can hang around for a little bit maybe?
I've got a little bit.
Okay, so we'll try to make sure we have time for all of our candidates. So if you would, the question and answers, and like I said, hopefully the candidates will stay around. It'd be a good time to get with them and ask particular questions. At this time, actually, is there anyone else would like to speak on the tax levy or the proposition that Chris Miller just spoke on? If not, we'll move on to our candidates for the Ripley County Memorial Hospital Board of Trustees. Right now I'm only showing one candidate registered, Kathy Harp. So at this time, Kathy, you want to come forward and tell us why we should vote for you?
Thank you, Russell. Well, I didn't really expect to speak tonight, but this is a good opportunity. There's a lot of you out there that I know, a lot of you that don't know me. My name is Kathy Harp, and I've been a resident of Ripley County for over 41 years. I've had over 15 years experience in healthcare. I have a higher level master's degree in healthcare administration. I think I understand how our hospital works, what needs to be done to keep it functioning and keep it sustainable. And I believe that me being on the board of trustees for our hospital will, well, I think that I can make a difference because I love this hospital. I love this town. I've been here most of my life since I was a small child, and this is my home. And this is the hospital is an integral part of our community. We have to keep it. And right now, you know, it's just a toying cost, really, as far as the hospital being able to stay open. We've passed sales tax measures twice in order to sustain revenue, to keep it going, but we don't know what's going to happen with it in the long run. I would like to be a part of making sure that our hospital stays here. We need it, and if it wasn't for that, you know, I hate to think of what would happen to our citizens if we needed emergency care and it wasn't here. So I think that I would be good because of my experience. I've worked at the hospital for numerous years. I'm familiar with the running of the hospital, the revenue, reimbursements. I know what it takes to keep it open, and I think that I would be a good candidate for that.
Thank you, Kathy. Is Jesse Roy here? Okay. Just want to make sure somebody didn't sneak in on me. If you're a candidate and you haven't checked in with me, raise your hand or something. I don't want to miss anybody. Looks like the next slate of candidates we have is for the Doniphan School District. And looks like we have Katie Friend.
Thank you. Hi, most of you probably know me or have heard about me, unfortunately. No. I do work right here in town. My name's Katie Friend. I am a pediatric nurse practitioner at Southeast Health. I have a master's degree in pediatric nursing. I am a Doniphan graduate. I have 3 daughters who attend the Doniphan school system. I am running for school board mainly because our school does not have a great reputation. And I want to see our school be a school that teachers move to this district because of the school, and they want to teach here. And families move to this district so their kids can go to school here because they've heard about the amazing academic programs that we have, or the winning athletic teams that we have. And these are things that we are lacking in right now. And we need to have some good leadership in place to see these things strive and become these excellent things that people want to move here for and not move away to other school districts to get away from. I am a Christian. I go to First Church of God here in Doniphan, and I think having Christian leadership in our school is a big, big thing that we need to see happen. And I would appreciate your vote, of course, but if you didn't want to vote for me, vote for some Christian leaders, because we need to get God back into the school. And even in our community, on these other elections that people are running, we need to get Christian leaders in those positions too, because if you don't have God backing you, nothing will succeed. And so I am running for school board. I would appreciate your vote on April 3rd. Thank you.
This time we have Deborah Latham running for the Doniphan R1 School Board. Hi, Debbie.
See a lot of faces out here I recognize. I've been to a lot of meetings here at this place. I've never been on this side of the podium, though. I'm used to bringing students here, coming to meet candidates and stuff like that. My name's Deborah Latham, known as Debbie. If you call me Deborah, I'm probably going to think I'm in trouble, so say Debbie. And I'm running for school board because I have 25 years of work experience in the business world and accounting. And I also have 20 years of education experience. I was a business ed teacher for 20 years. I also taught for higher ed, teaching at Three Rivers, William Woods, and Hannibal Grange for over 10 years. So I do have an education background, and I feel I understand how things should hopefully be run in the education world. I have 25 years as an AARP tax volunteer, helping seniors and low-income people get their taxes done free. I've been doing that as part of my accounting background. I've been a member of many organizations, Missouri State Teachers Association, the local Community Teachers Association. I've been members of the professional development community. I always stay busy being involved in those different things because I think being involved is important. I was a Skills USA advisor sponsor for 20 years. During that period of time, I trained many a student in leadership. I also had many students get the American degree. Several years, my students was the only students in the state of Missouri that received the American degree, and they worked hard. And this is where I always brought them to this community here to get to attend meetings to meet all the qualifications they had to meet for their leadership. In that period of time, in 2016, I was the Missouri State Advisor of the Year, and in 2017, I was the Region 4 Advisor of the Year for Skills USA. So I've been very, very busy and active in education. Education, I have a passion for. One person can make a difference, but a team can make a big difference. And I'm a team player, and I'd like to be on the school board to help make a difference for our community. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Debbie. Do we have anyone else from the Doniphan School, or is going running for the Doniphan School Board? If not, we'll go ahead and move on to the Ripley County R3 School District. We have two candidates, Craig Combs. Come on up. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Craig Combs. Some of you all know me, and maybe some of you don't. I live out in the district there. I've been there for 16 years in the school district, and I've served for about 2 years now on the board, and I'm interested in serving again. What I like about it is being able to be active and go to the things that school trips and things that kids are doing and events. You'll see me at ball games and things, and I enjoy that. But most of all, just being able to be there and serve and to help. You know, the things that we're doing right now. For example, we're getting like security, focusing on security. We're getting locks for the doors to where you have to scan a badge to get in because of a recent break-in, and plus we know what's went on with the school shootings and stuff. Cameras, we're getting security cameras and things like that done. I do think education is a very top priority on the list, but one of the things I also like to focus on is when I'm on the board there is things like just some of the things they're doing with the kids. You know, they're doing things that help them with life skills, you know, such as things they're going to be doing when they get like the junior high people. They're teaching them what a checkbook is and how to keep a checkbook, and things like what a budget is and how to budget money, and they're having to learn these things that are coming up as well. And it's more than maybe just getting an A in math. There's a lot of things that I like to see teachers doing, and I try to make sure that that's going on when I'm on the board. So anybody afterwards has any questions for me, feel free to talk to me or anything, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. At this time, again, running for the R3 School District, Tiffany Smith.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Smith. I'm running for the school board at Gatewood. I don't know how many of you out there are in the district, but I am married. We moved back to Gatewood about 7 years ago. I was born and raised in Gatewood, went to school at Gatewood, and then I went to Couch. I'm an ultrasound tech at the hospital here. I've worked there over 7 years now. I have 2 little boys. My youngest started preschool this year, and I'm running for board so that I can make sure that Gatewood stays open. I have a lot of good memories at Gatewood. It's a great school. I loved going to Gatewood. We have a lot of opportunities that some bigger schools don't, and so I would like to see it stay open. And I know that the smaller schools struggle more because of the financial situation due to government funding and all of that stuff. So I want to get on the board so that I can try to make a difference. So I would appreciate your vote April 3rd if you are in the Gatewood district. So thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. We're running through this pretty quick. I guess that's good. Excuse me. Do we have anyone here from the East Carter R2 School District? I know that may sound a little surprising to some, but actually there are some of our folks that get a chance to vote on those. Anyone here from East Carter R2? Okay. And the ballot's not clear on this, but because I didn't put the school down, but I'm assuming it's going to be Lone Star. Do we have any candidates running for the school board for Lone Star that's here? Okay. Well, moving right along, let's write in. Looks like that takes us down to the city of Doniphan and mayor race. We have 2 candidates here, and the first candidate would be Terry Cooper. Remember, Terry, 3 minutes.
I won't use them. Thank you. I'm Terry Cooper of Mayor Doniphan. Present time, I've been 5 years, 20-something years on the city council, and seen a lot of comings and goings, so I made a few notes. Talk about the flood we had back in the spring. It left a lot of damage in the city. We're still desperately recovering from it. We do have grants pending as far as replacement of housing. I think we have 12 buyouts pending when we get the grants. The next thing to go to is the flood damage to the city hall and the police station. Of course, we had flooded so much. I know when personally being in there that last day I left, it was water was chest deep on me, and that's not a pretty sight, not a good thing to be in. But it was the building inside was extensively damaged, but we didn't. I don't know, when you've been in them kind of floods and water like that, it's hard to walk back in buildings. But anyhow, the damage inside was the outside wasn't bad, the inside was terrible. So we're going on trying to move the city hall and the police station. We've looked at every lot there is in town. So one of these days maybe we'll settle on something and find a way to pay for them. New facilities, the location, like I'm saying, is really important. It's hard to, you can find one place for a city hall and find one place for a police station, but it's hard to find them together. And that's what we'd love to have them together if we can. And so maybe we'll find something one of these days. Steve, he's in the real estate business. He'll find us something. The cost is very well. We need to fit our pocketbook, so we'll have to find a way to raise money for that. But it's not, so we don't place a financial burden on the city. It's the affordable terms of the way to pay for it is something, and we're still working on Chris and the council. They're working hard on it. So anyhow, we're looking at that. And the city streets, we had a capital improvement tax passed 4 years ago, I guess. But in that, we used that tax. We repaved 2/3 of our street in Doniphan, and so we think maybe projected cost $200,000 to finish our streets, and then at that time maybe we'll start working on the shoulders and repairing it and doing so. Anyhow, I guess that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Terry, next time I'm in city council asking for something, just keep in mind I'll let you go over a few seconds there, okay? At this time, candidate for the mayor of the city of Doniphan, Dennis Cox.
My name is Dennis Cox. I know most of you in the room here. I am running for the position of mayor of the city of Doniphan. I was born and raised in Ripley County, lived here my entire life. My wife Debbie's sitting here in the audience. Both of my daughters and my granddaughters all live here in town. I worked for the city police department for about 14 years, and I was a sheriff of the county for another 4 years. I have a business here in town. I most recently, a year ago, I resigned my position at Countryside Chevrolet, where I was a general manager up there for 10 years, and because I needed to dedicate my time to my small business that I own here in town. The reason I'm running for mayor is that I and many of the residents of town have presented this to me that they think our town is going backwards, and I will have to agree with them. Our police department is down in size. Our street and water department is down in employees. Our revenues are down, and we need to find ways to increase our revenue streams, get revenue back into Doniphan. we need to clean up our town. It's looking pretty shabby in places, and I'm actually, for the first time in my life, I've had to say that I was ashamed of the way our town looks at times. We need to clean things up. I want to give some insight to our other city leaders, our city department heads, try to get more cohesion between all of the city employees and department heads, and have cooperation between all the departments. Doesn't seem like there's very much of that right now. I think it's time for a change. Mr. Cooper's done an excellent job while he was there, but I do think it's time for a change, and I would appreciate your support and your vote on April 3rd. Thank you very much.
The next office we do have some candidates here. Sharon Pierce for the city collector. Sharon.
Yeah, I'm throwing things now. I'm Sharon Pierce, and I know many of you, and the rest of you probably just know me as that lady with the purple hair. So I'm running for city collector. I have experience in it. Pauletta Joyner was my boss many years ago. And I'm running because I have the experience. I have computer experience. I have bookkeeping and accounting experience. I went to the University of Alabama in Huntsville, but I was born in Sikeston and raised here in Doniphan. So this is my home. And I've always loved the town and love working with the people of the town, and have a great deal of respect for all of those who are attempting to do all the things that need to be done for our community. And I feel like I can help in that growth process. Although the collector is basically just taking your money, I feel like I'm an honest person and that I can do the job. And I would appreciate all of you voting for me on April 3rd. Thank you.
The next candidate that we have for city collector is Kimberly Kennedy.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to have to read mine. I can't just. I am Kim Cannon. I'm currently the city collector. I've held this position for over 5 years now. I have lived in Doniphan my whole life, and my family has, my grandparents, my parents. And I'm married to Steve Cannon, and he's a native from here. Before going to work for the city, I had worked for South Central Community Action Agency as a caseworker, and I've also worked at the Career Center of Poplar Bluff. And these jobs have prepared me to a great extent with working with the public. I believe that when you work with the public that you must bring a certain communication skill set to the job in order to better assist your customers. It is equally as important to be organized and focused as a city collector. Customers have the expectation that billing is accurate and reliable, and it is the obligation of the collector to ensure that. And I believe that I have already showed that I am capable of providing those skills and provide quality customer service to the residents of Doniphan. The collector's office goes beyond billing of the city services. The office is responsible for the collection of all city revenue. Accurate record keeping and reporting is essential to the everyday operation of the city as a whole. And if the collector's office does not run well, it can negatively impact all areas of the operation. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you tonight, and I welcome the opportunity to work with my fellow residents in the next year.
Thank you, Kimberly. Do we have any candidates for alderman, either Ward 1 or Ward 2? Are there any candidates here that are going to be on the April ballot that I have not called up here to speak? Well, folks, it looks like we're out of candidates. So at this time, I would like a round of applause for all of our candidates. Again, I'd like to thank Ripley County Chamber of Commerce, Single Insurance, and Ripley County Community Partnership for helping us put this event on. Please enjoy the refreshments. This is your time to mingle with the candidates, to ask them questions, and I'd like to thank everyone here for attending this evening. Thank you very much.